Episode 3 of God's Gangster is back. We are here, and today we wanted to do something for the listeners, for those of you that have been reaching out to us, wanting to connect, and just kind of talk about the feedback that we've been getting, that some of it we didn't expect, some of it has just totally gotten us overwhelmed, and really just, thank you guys for taking the time out to listen to the story and, just give us your time. So with that, we are going to talk about all the people that said they didn't like you.
Perfect.
Skylar was a big old bully, apparently.
Yeah.
So there were two messages that really stood out. And, aside from hearing that, you were cussing people out, really kind of giving a good amount of people not your best self. But I asked Skylar if he would read, a message, keeping, the person completely anonymous. But I wanted you to read this message just so people could hear a little feedback that we got.
All right, so message 1. Skylar has changed so much as a person. I used to despise him in high school. Years later, I look up to him. I learned a lot of new stuff about him from this video. That word despise.
It's a strong one.
Dang. And it's like, it's being able to hear what type of person I was to other people. It doesn't feel good.
Right.
That's the main thing. I can't even comprehend so much of who I used to be, because that is just, now I can't even imagine being mean to somebody or trying to tear them down, because I know how hard it is to build ourselves up.
Right.
So just being able to hear that I tore somebody down verbally just is not very cool.
Right. And I'm sure, like you said, you weren't like out there intentionally seeking to hurt others.
No, yeah, I heard this quote that hurt people hurt people. And so like, I never woke up and was like, oh, I'm gonna be mean to this person.
Right.
It was kind of like, man, I'm looking back now, I was hurting, so I was hurting other people.
Right, just projecting that same hurt.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and read that second one that we got. This was deep, guys. This hit home.
Yeah, this one, I just wanted to see this person say sorry and just give them a hug.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hold them and just tell them like I'm sorry.
Right.
It just like hit me, and I was like, man, that is just, it's crazy the type of impact words can have on people. I didn't imagine. I didn't even know that power existed inside of words.
Right.
So with message 2, I watched your interview with Skylar, and it was so powerful. It made me really think about so many things. One traumatic memory I have growing up is actually of Skylar making fun of me in elementary school, calling me names, and how I held on to that for so long. But really, we were all just hurting as kids and took it out on someone. Why is that? Why does Las Vegas just breed addiction, first with our parents and then us? It's so sad to see many of us lose parents or come from broken homes. We all have the most effed up parents and childhoods. This city can be so toxic.
So when I had sent that to you, and just knowing, at first I wasn't going to send it. I was like, that's kind of rough. But then I was like, that would be selfish of me to keep. And I sent it to you. And immediately when you read it, how did you feel?
I just imagined hugging her.
Yeah. And
how I just wanted to apologize. And I can't believe that Skylar did that.
Yeah. And those are, that's elementary school. And
that's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was, how long ago? I ditched a lot, so I don't know.
Listen, I'm not good at math, but it was a while
a long
ago.
Time. Okay, so the fact that words could be used to mold people or just like drag them down for such a long period of time is crazy.
And just the fact that that memory is obviously stuck with her for so long. She literally says, a traumatic memory that I have. Did you think, even during that time and even moving forward, did you think that you were giving people traumatic memories?
No, how old are you in elementary school?
I think, 10?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, 11?
Okay, so, no, that's not even it's not even going through my mind that I'm inflicting these type of emotions towards people. I'm like thinking back, there's like I was fresh as a child dealing with everything that happened. So it's 5 years deep so far, you know, of like my parents separating, dealing with all those things at home.
And if I recall correctly, I mean, you said around 8 and 10 is when you were kind of finding out about your dad and what he was kind of doing as far as getting involved himself. So, you know, I'm sure kind of being exposed to all that, I mean, that obviously caused a lot of pain for you, which of course, as a kid, you were going to project that out some way, somehow.
But it's like, I can't remember being that young and feeling pain, you know? I didn't really process. It was just like something that was being created, and it was just like normal to me. You know, I didn't see, I don't even remember doing these things like to them. You know, it wasn't something like, the intentions of being evil towards them was never like me. It was just literally something that I had stuff building up inside of me, and I was just letting it go.
So with that being said, you know, do you think there's still people out there that you might still need to make peace with?
I'm sure the list is gonna go on forever. You know, there's only so much I can do to make those amends. So yeah, of course, if it comes to like moments like this, to where I can recall and meet them people and tell them I'm sorry or send them a message. But there's a lot of people who I won't have contact with. So I kind of had to forgive myself for being that type of person towards them, and from now on use the lessons that I've learned towards my future and the encounters that I have with people going forward. So that's the best way I can make my apology to them, is treating who I meet next the best that I can.
Awesome. If if I said, someone that you need to make peace with, like I just did, and there's maybe a couple people that come to mind, if those people are listening, aside from what you just said, doing your best and, being better in every relationship moving forward, but if there was just a little message that you'd want to give that person, what would it be?
That's deep. I would just say that I'm sorry, and I never meant to hurt you. I never want to impact your life in such a negative way, and I wish I knew better then. And I just really, from the bottom of my heart, apologize for being that type of person to you. If you're listening and I hurt you and you haven't reached out yet, feel free to DM me and reach out to Taylor some way. I would love to just tell you I'm sorry, and I'm here for you to lift you up any day. So
huge. That's, I think it's healing to hear that from someone, especially from people that we felt hurt with. So I truly hope that you do reach out, definitely connect with us. That's the best that we could ask, and hope that you feel comfortable to do so. But amongst some of the hate messages that we received, we did get really good feedback as well. I mean, people, it's great to hear that some of you are feeling inspired, some of you are hearing the message and thinking about things that maybe you ignored for a really long time. Some of you coming, fresh into sobriety and finding God, or just finding your way again. For me, I know that's one of the biggest missions of mine, is to just get people, just closer. But Skylar, I want you to read one of the good messages that you received.
So, hey Skylar, was watching your testimony, touched very much. I grew up without a father as well. Once I turned 17, I started doing drugs and partying, and would go missing for days without my mother knowing where I was. I hurt her very much. Your testimony has touched me. I got close to God now. Thank you for sharing your testimony. I see hope. Thank you.
So even on the flip side, I mean, same thing. Did you ever think that, your life, your journey would be used to help others?
No, no matter, I always thought like no matter what I went through, somebody's gone through worse. So like my story is not that significant to what other people have gone through.
Sure.
And so I just see it as like, this is life, this is the cards that I was dealt, so I have to just keep on moving and working through it. I never thought that my words can be used to inspire or help other people overcome certain things or draw them closer to God.
Right.
So it's pretty cool to see how much feedback has been coming back.
Yeah.
And being used in a positive way.
For sure. And just, it just goes to show that, there are people that are going through times, going through life. And I mean, like you said, you're just thinking of it as like another day sometimes, or even, you said you never thought about it as like going through this or that. It was just, it was life.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's all it is. It's life. It happens. Nothing discriminates. Bad times don't discriminate. They'll come and get you if you let them. Yeah. But I think really, like the positive feedback that we got really just goes to show what a role model you can be. And, people are looking up to you now, and people do see you as, someone that can lead, and, they're following your example. Which kind of shifts me into wanting to talk about another role that you have, which is a big brother.
Oh, yes.
You are a big brother.
Yes.
So what does it mean to you now to be, the oldest brother?
I know that in the beginning of like wanting to do better was being able to be that brother to them, So naturally, just be an example. At the end of the day, you just have to be an example, whether it's for my brothers or someone I don't meet. It's being able to say no to temptation, do things that you don't want to do, like pushing past your limits or your expectations. Just for me, it's just setting an example.
And now you think this way now, setting the example, but obviously when you were, growing up, living your life, were you thinking about being that example then?
No, I was too consumed with selfishness, how I felt. I wasn't trying to, it never thought to my mind to like be a brother that uplifts them,
Sure.
It was more like I'm just doing whatever I'm doing, and whoever I hurt, whatever I do, it doesn't really matter. I was just.
Yeah. Do you think that your brothers kind of, for lack of better words, were paying attention to all that you were doing?
Yeah, the brother
right after you,
right before me.
Okay, right before you.
Yeah, 2 years younger. He followed right after my footsteps. So even now, looking back and seeing what kind of steps I left for him to follow, it hurts me. Like just how I was mean to those people without with the intention. I didn't take this direction in my life to know that he was going to follow behind me.
Sure.
So to know that, he was doing drugs when he was 13. If I was 15, he was 13 doing hardcore drugs. And to see that type of impact that I made on his life, it wasn't a good feeling, and it still isn't a good feeling. So just trying to overcome that role that I was playing then, and to become something better now.
Right.
That's all I can.
Yeah, just to kind of show him, like, that I may have taken that road, but this is the one you should take. Trust me. Okay.
It was tough. And then my youngest brother, he was far back enough in age to where he could see, okay, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to do this because this is how they ended up. This is what they did, so I'm going to do the opposite. So to see him, he's killing it in sports. He's good in school. He's doing everything that I wish I could have done or who I could have became.
Sure.
So it's pretty cool to see him doing excellent.
Awesome.
Never really worried about him.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy to see how addiction can ruin, separate families, people. It's just very unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, for our viewers that, were in your place or in your brother's place, the people that, kind of the family members that have people, going through the dark times and struggling, what advice would you give to them as far as, getting through watching someone you love, go through addiction?
There's no handbook for it, because at the end of the day, we want to do everything we can to help them.
For sure.
Help them get in the right path, do this, do that. But at a certain point, you have to learn that no help is the best help. And that is the toughest love that you can give,
Mm-hmm.
But it's the most needed love, and most times for people to give to their loved ones or children. Because they'll never reach that rock bottom if you're always there to catch them.
For sure.
And if they never reach that, then there's no reason to change,
Mm-hmm.
So tough love.
Tough love.
It's I couldn't imagine the type of courage it takes to give that type of love.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that I never have to endure that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what has to happen. It's such a terrible thing to watch somebody suffer and to know that you can help, but you can't help, because if you help, it's going to take them nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, at the end of the day, all you can do is believe that God has a plan.
Right.
So just as the way that He used my struggles to be able to reach people who are also going through things, they're going to use those family members to reach other people. So God's always got His hand and always ready to use something negative for positive.
Right.
But it's on His time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're willing, because God's not going to make us do anything. There's free will.
Yeah.
It's our choice, plain and simple. But once we make that step towards God, He'll lead the way every time. For sure.
All right, as we close out, I know that there have been some things weighing heavy on Skylar. So, Skylar, I'm going to give you, the time to kind of let people know what's been going on.
I just want to say for anybody out there that's being bullied, discouraged, or criticized, that you can't let what people say to you bother you or to bring you down. You got to know that you have your purpose and that God has a plan for you, and that it doesn't matter what they're saying about you, it's what God says about you. And God says that you're valuable, you're priceless, you're loved, you're forgiven, all these amazing things, and most importantly, you're a child of God. So when you're a part of His kingdom, that type of love that you get to experience is worth more than anything hurtful that people can say about you. You just have to keep in mind that, like I said earlier, hurt people. So when you're getting that type of energy thrown at you negatively, you got to just take it as a grain of salt and just know that they're going through something. And so instead of taking it as like, take it to heart or hurt your feelings, you got to be like, okay, I need to pray for this person, and this person. They're going through something. Hopefully God can help me. I can pray for these people and we can get it resolved, because prayer works 100%.
For sure.
So,
Well, that's episode 3. Thanks for tuning in.